Hey, is that folk music that you play there? What is that? How do you call that folk music?
I think it was Studs Terkel who asked Big Bill Brunzi, did he consider his blues music to be folk music? And Big Bill says, well, never heard no horses.
Don't hesitate. It could be your ticket to a new tomorrow.
Well, if you have a minute, John, I sure feel like hell. The union vote is coming up and things aren't looking well. You know I'd like to stand up for the things that I believe, but it seems that my life's not as simple as it used to be. I was born in Tulsa back in 1951. They say that I could drive a spike before I learned to run. In a land of dust and corn, the rails spoke a steel truth. The men that kept them working were the heroes of my youth, for they sang, come diddle-diddle-I-do-I-day, working for the railway. Come diddle-diddle-I-do-I-day, working for the railway. When I was a young man and I thought to run away, a freight train, it came through our town and I got on one day. I rode it down to Gallup and then back to Santa Fe. Everywhere I listened, I could hear the railway workers singing, come diddle-diddle-I-do-I-day, working for the railway. Come diddle-diddle-I-do-I-day, working for the railway. 1969, I met a soul to match my life. But her father said that I must have a job to take a wife. So I looked around at all the work that I might do, found that it was time for me to sing the only song I knew. Hey, come diddle-diddle-I-do-I-day, working for the railway. Come diddle-diddle-I-do-I-day, working for the railway. Well, now we have 5 children and they bring me joy each day. But the bills keep getting higher and I've nothing left to pay. The union says that we must strike and stand up, don't you see? But I've just got too damn many people who depend on me. Hey, come diddle-diddle-I-do-I-day, working for the railway. Come diddle-diddle-I-do-I-day, working for the railway. kin. And to walk away from pay that's good, it seems, is such a sin. Bosses, they don't understand how hard I work each night. And I've got mouths to feed, and so I do my part till daylight, singing, come diddle-diddle-I do I day, working for the railway. Come diddle-diddle-I do I day, working for the railway. Come diddle-diddle-I do I day, working for the railway. Come diddle-diddle-I do I day, working for the railway.
All right, all right, all right. The show is Horses Sing None of It, and my name is Ralph Lewin, and our guest is a winner of many songwriting awards. And we've been seeking him to be on our show for years.
Yeah, you guys have invited me a bunch of times, but I lived in Seattle for a long time, and it sort of made it hard to get out to New Jersey on a Wednesday night. But
Well, we finally have you, Joe Jencks.
Thanks for having
Welcome
me.
to the show.
Pleasure to be here.
That first number sounded traditional, but I imagine it's yours.
It was an original piece, very much modeled after traditional styles, but I have a friend, his name is Phil Amadon, who just retired after being a welder for Norfolk Southern Railroad for most of his life, and he worked for the old Denver and Rio Grande Railroad, and he just spent a lifetime. He was the last generation of railroad workers when he was in his late teens that was trained on how to, drive spikes by hand, and, just a real kind of piece of working class history all by himself. And so wrote that song in his honor. Thought I'd play an old Irish tune for you now. This piece some people know as The Beggar Man. It's also known by the name The Red-Haired Boy. And
Do I remember reading that you have dual citizenship?
Yeah, dual U.S. and Irish citizen. My granddad came over in 1914. I have a song that I sing called Lady of the Harbor with the trio Brother Son that I'm in with Greg Greenway and Pat Wichter. And we sing that song that talks a little bit more about my granddad's experience. But he brought a lot of music with him, and so I was really steeped in a lot of traditional Irish music growing up, even though I didn't get to Ireland until 2007. You know, I was in my mid-30s before I actually made it over to Ireland, even though I have an Irish passport. And the Irish, there was so much talent that left Ireland as a result of economic hard times and the troubles in the north. And And so the Irish have a very sort of open arm policy about welcoming the diaspora back to Ireland, certainly in hope to bring some talent back. And this next song is one that I wrote. I wrote this next song on my first trip to Ireland. I went over to sort of trace some of the family roots and do a little tour over there. And in Gaelic, the name for Ireland is Éireann. This song is called On Éireann Shore. As a stranger from across the sea I roam. I have come here as a prodigal child who is ready to come home from the hills of Connemara to the McGillicuddy. Softly does she speak, and I will give to her the song I sing, as so many times before. But the one who holds my truest heart, she lies far from Éireann's shore. Down in Doolin, as the band begin to play, but my thoughts they are a-wandering to a place so far away, to a woman who is waiting, and I own my soul. Between this country I would call my own and the one where I was born, and I will give to her the song I sing, as so many times before. But the one who holds my truest heart, she lies far from Éireann's shore. As I turn toward the Atlantic at the setting of the sun, I would have her here beside me now, that our lives might be as one. All our days would know such beauty, and our sorrow be no more, and our love would find fulfillment here as we stand on Éireann's shore. Then I will give to her the song I sing, as so many times before, but with hearts no longer would stand on Erin's shore. Then I will give to her the song I sing, as so many times before, but with hearts no longer torn apart, we would stand on Erin's shore. Yes, with hearts no longer torn apart, we would stand on Erin's shore, hand in hand on Erin's shore.
Beautiful.
Thanks, man.
We should let folks know how they can find out more about your touring and your recordings.
Sure. If you go to joejencks.com, that's JoeJencks.com, joejencks.com, and you can find all kinds of information there. My sister Jean is a public school teacher and has been for many years. She teaches kind of inner city in Cincinnati. And some years back, one of her students was killed. His name was Deshawn Johnson, and he was a Golden Gloves boxing champion for his age and weight group. And he'd received a letter from the National Olympic Committee, and they had invited him to come try out for the summer games. And you know, his life had a lot of promise, and tragically, he was killed. And the papers in Cincinnati, where I lived at the time, all they wrote, they just wrote his name and wrote a statistic, the 21st murder of the year in Cincinnati. They didn't write anything about all of this incredible promise that this young life that had gotten cut short. And so I wanted to honor his life because his story is the story of many, many young people in our cities. It's called The Ballad of Deshawn. Deshawn Johnson grew up in a world of stone and steel, where the neighborhoods have edges that are rough and the monsters of our childhood are real. He had his problems in the classroom, though he always gave his best. When he put on his gloves and stepped into the ring, it was clear he was a notch above the rest in Cincinnati. Deshawn's father was his trainer, and they made quite a team. His parents' house was full of trophies and awards, like a private hall of fame, a tribute to a dream. He was invited to try out for the Olympic Summer Games. Everybody knew this was his ticket out, and his life would never be the same in Cincinnati. Deshawn would never box outside the ring, for he knew it was not right. Even pushed into a corner when some other young men wanted him to fight. He tried to turn away from their jealousy and rage, but they attacked. They cursed him and beat him. One of them pulled out a gun and shot him in the back in Cincinnati. The medics did their best to save Deshawn, but his spirit slipped away. And we wonder where God's mercy goes when there's children killing children every day. But the papers did not print a word about the promise of the young life that was lost. All they could say was Deshawn was the 21st murder of the year in Cincinnati. The minister said it is not how long we dance our feet upon this earth, but how pure is our soul when we leave. That's the measure of our worth. And Deshawn was pure. If we honor him, then we must not be afraid to feel the loss. Like the flowers that bloom in the early spring takes a chance that there still might be a frost in Cincinnati. In Cincinnati. I forgot to mention earlier, this is a unique instrument. It's a bouzouki, a Greek instrument, but it looks like a guitar. This one was handmade for me by Baird Blaine, a luthier in Fayetteville, Arkansas. And it's kind of like a giant mandolin. And for those of you that have occasion to travel with a bouzouki, if you ever go through a TSA security checkpoint, I recommend that you call it a mandolin. The word bouzouki makes them nervous. Wrote this song in honor of a friend of mine, Ian Campbell Smith, a singer-songwriter from Australia, and he and I toured together on and off for a couple of years. And, it's called Going Home. A song for the sailor lost out to sea, a song for the mother who always will grieve, a song for the soldier who lays down his life, a song for the woman who once was his wife. A song for the traveler down on his luck, a circus man plying his trade for a buck. A song for the child who's lost in the night. Though she's never seen stars, she still clings to their light. Going home, going home. A song for the mistress who dares to believe, wiping the tears from her eyes with her sleeve. A song for the poet who runs out of time before she can finish her famous last. A song for the miner who digs out the coal and dreams of a life somewhere far from this hole. A song for the rebel who gave up the fight, haunted by guilt, 'cause he still knows he's right. Going home, going home. A song for the lovers who never will meet, star-crossed and stumbling out on the street. A song for the preacher down on his knees, praying for answers he never quite sees. A song for the ones who run into the fire to put out the flames of this world on its pyre. A song for the driver who runs out of road with nobody there to help shoulder the load. Going home, going home. A song for the drinker who puts down the glass. A song for the jumper who takes a step back. A song for the wanderer home now at last. A song for redemption from sins of the past. A song for forgiveness that opens a door. A song for the good friends who gather once more. A song for the prisoner finally free. A song for the veil that is lifted, lifted,